you about this?
No. Whoa, I'm like Constantine.
What you mean you ain't seen Constantine with Keanu Reeves? Constantine, released in 2005, rated R, coming in at 132 minutes. It's classified as action, drama, fantasy, and was directed by Francis Lawrence, starring Keanu Reeves, Rachel Weisz, Shia LaBeouf, Dejimon Hutsu, Pruitt Taylor-Weiss, Gavin Rossdale, Tilda Swinton, and Peter Stormare. That's right, guys. This week we took a look at Constantine from 2005, The Matrix with Demons, a movie that when it came out, most people could only say,
Like the books. No. It isn't.
So anyway, guys, what did you guys think about 2005's star vehicle for Keanu Reeves, Constantine?
I really liked it. I didn't expect it to be demon and angel-y. I had no idea going into it that that's what it was going to be, but I had a great time.
It was exhausting. Like,
Fair too, maybe.
I mean, when it opened up, I was like, okay, fuck yeah. Like, the car wreck, like,
Yeah.
I thought it was, the whole movie was gonna be like that. Man, there's some painful stuff in that thing. It's cool, don't be wrong. It's damn cool. I don't want to get reamed, but Jesus, it was...
Oh, don't worry. Most people hate this movie.
Oh, okay, cool.
Most
That
people
makes it cool.
really hate this movie.
Really?
And that's for a multitude of different reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot. but-
Of course, you have the core fan base who, again, doesn't like it because
Like the books. No. It isn't.
And then, on the other side, you have the people who saw the trailer and was like, that looks dope. It's an
Yeah.
action movie with Keanu Reeves just blowing up demons for fucking 2 hours. It's
Yes.
gonna be dope.
Yeah, I
And-
don't think she saw the trailer, but we sat
Yeah.
and watched the trailer, and I was like, that looks fucking cool.
Right. As I said, the trailer looks like The Matrix with demons.
Yes.
And that's very clearly, which we'll get into in a little bit, very clearly a direction they intentionally went with this movie. But then you also have the other people who just kind of hate Keanu Reeves. And in fairness to that group, this movie is not the best example of, like, whenever you make the argument to people, no, Keanu Reeves is actually a really good actor, this movie will not come up in your reasoning for trying to convince them of that. Never in a million years. It's definitely not a strong Keanu Reeves performance as compared to some other movies. But yeah, a lot of people didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
I personally, even being a comic book fan, I kind of dig this movie. It also helped that in 2005, when this movie came out, I'd maybe only ever read 4 issues of a Hellblazer Constantine comic, and then seen him in a bunch of Swamp Thing books. So, like, my knowledge of Constantine was pretty minimal. And in truth, that's something that the filmmakers were banking on in general, because this movie does the same thing as the movie Blade. They use the same approach. They took an obscure character who's kind of rooted in the mystical elements, things that they can play with that are still very popular in pop culture, but because almost like no one in the main general audience is going to know who Constantine is, they take a lot of liberties to try to gear it a little bit more towards the mainstream audience.
Into the light I command thee. Into the light I command thee. Into the light.
Right on, guys. So, what was your favorite thing in The Matrix with demons and angels? I'm sorry, Constantine. What was your favorite thing in Constantine?
I think mine was, honestly, the portrayal of Satan, the devil.
Okay.
Because he's not even, like, suave or, like, cool or anything. He's just kind of a guy, and he's, like, he doesn't have to really put on a show. He's terrifying.
He's pretty pissed off
I mean,
demon, but...
he is,
Well, also,
he is, but, like...
He's
then,
sleazy.
Yeah.
He's sleazy as all fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the touch of him being in the white suit, but having, like, tar, like, burning tar on his feet all the time. And, yeah, like, I love Home Dude's performance in the movie. Let me double check. I know his name, but I always forget it. Okay, so, yeah. Stormare. So yeah, Peter Stormare's performance in the movie as the devil is fantastic. Like, it's a very small performance.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
or
he
something
barely
like that.
is on screen, but like, yeah, like the way that he takes the standard, kind of one of the many standard interpretations of the devil as like the most beautiful angel of like, just like, we see him as a guy who's just really attractive. This is like that guy who peaked during the time of the Bible, and now he's like having his midlife crisis, so he's
Yeah.
just all sleazy, like in this white suit and shit. Yeah, I really love that.
I did too.
It's really fun.
Mhm.
Even though he gets, unfortunately, the shots towards the end of the movie where he has the whole, like, the sacrifice, like, that is shot so fucking cheesy, it actually robs a little bit from his
Yes.
performance in those moments.
Yeah.
But that's not on him.
Yeah.
That's on the director of the film, and I also don't really think that his moments towards the end of that were really written all that well. So, yeah. But yeah, we'll get to stuff that we don't like here in a little bit.
My favorite, I'm not sure, I mean, like, your comedic relief of Shia is pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of people
yeah.
find him annoying, but I also like him.
I was okay with that. And then, I mean, Keanu's performance as Constantine was alright. Like, it was, like, if you look at the source material, like, yes, like, that's kind of, like, he's kind of a fuck you, devil,
Yeah.
human being, it doesn't matter, like, all of y'all, like,
Yeah.
you know, which was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. So I guess that'd probably be my favorite. Not so much him as Constantine,
Right.
but, like, the performance of and within that.
No, yeah,
Which
it's
is
like
kinda-
it's like my thing with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah.
When I look at Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine, I'm like, that's not fucking Wolverine. But he always writes the role written for him, or he always plays the role written for him exceedingly well.
Yes.
So like, even though I don't think that's Wolverine, most of the time I can still watch it because he's doing a great job at the role he's been written, unless it's X-Men Origins Wolverine. So yeah, in that
Shut
respect,
up.
yeah, in that respect, Constantine, as played by Keanu Reeves, doesn't feel like comic book Constantine, but he does have the same attitude. He does have a lot of the same general motivations and
Yes.
swagger.
Yeah.
Again, until you get to the third act of the movie. And then what was the other one?
Oh, the Shia.
Yeah,
Like,
Shia LaBeouf as the
so-
comedic relief. Yeah, like, I don't remember anyone complaining about him too much specifically whenever the movie first came out, but certainly once he became more famous and people started hating him, like, he started showing up in every complaint about this movie. Same thing happened to iRobot, whereas, like, because he's essentially the same character in both movies, like, or
Yeah.
the same character archetype for the most part.
Yes.
And I thought that, like, he was fine in both those for the role that he's playing. Although there is a moment, like, you actually pointed it out when we were watching with Shia LaBeouf's character, that he disappears from this fucking movie
Yeah.
for, like, the whole middle part of the movie. Just
Right.
fucking gone.
Right, we just got rid of one sidekick and hired another one. I
Right.
think that was along the lines of what I said.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
Did we just say fuck Shia? Like, what the
Right.
fuck?
I think a lot of that, because there's like 30 minutes of deleted scenes to this movie,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure a lot of his appearances in that time got cut out.
God.
But I do have to say that as much as I like him in the movie, not having him in the
Yeah.
middle really robs you of a little bit of the emotional payoff for
Yes.
how his character arc ends.
Right.
Which, I'm not going to say spoiler, because I've already used the clip fucking 2 times in this video by now, so at least 2
By
times.
the way.
So, like, spoilers!
Like the books. No. It isn't.
The casting.
Yeah, it's pretty
In
solid.
general, like, it seems like all of the things we've mentioned as our favorites relate to a specific character or a specific actor or something like that. And I do think Keanu Reeves is fine in this movie as the character he's written, but, like, when you look at his supporting cast, they are all solid.
Yeah.
Like, again, Shia LaBeouf, pretty good. Freaking
Yeah.
Papa Midnight, holy crap. I'm not going to try to pronounce that guy's name again because I'll just butcher it, but, like, he is so perfect
Yes.
as Papa Midnight.
Yeah.
And they did a very comic book version of Papa Midnight, too, so that's really cool. Freaking Homegirl playing Gabriel.
Oh, Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton playing Gabriel. Fucking dope. We already mentioned the devil. Like, also, like, one of the other, like, sidekicks that John has, like the heavyset priest dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I forget his name.
Yeah, the movie is just, and even like the other cops who work with freaking Rachel Weisz, who again, like, she's super gorgeous and fantastic in this movie. I kind of wish they'd let her keep her British accent, but whatever. You know, I really love the fact that in the movie, whenever like she's supposed to look like sickly and all beaten up, she's
still hot as
she's
hell.
still hot as hell, almost hotter than she was earlier.
So hot.
And I'm just like, how did this chick not ever become an action star?
God.
You know? But yeah, like Gavin Rossdale as like the demon character he plays, everybody across the board, I don't feel like there's a really standout weak component in the supporting cast.
Yeah, they really nailed what they were being instructed
Right.
to do.
And liking those performances and those people really goes a long way to helping you ignore the other problems that the movie has, which we'll get into now. So what did you fucking hate? What was your least favorite thing in the movie?
Oh, losing Shia LaBeouf. Probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all the things?
Yeah.
Wow.
It made me
Huh.
really sad. I think I cried. But I wanted to see more of him. I wanted
Yeah.
to see, like, just the beginning when he's like, I'm Chaz, and, like, trying to gas himself up a little bit is great. And I'm like, oh, I need
Chaz
more.
asshole.
I need more of you.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, guys, I'm sorry. There's something I never knew about this movie, but since you brought up the Shia LaBeouf thing and wishing there was more of him, there's a tag at the end of this movie that I only know about because after we were done, I just let it roll.
Oh, boy.
At the end of this movie, I've never seen this until this time. So, what you mean I ain't seen, I guess.
Shit.
At the end of this, Shia LaBeouf comes back as an angel
Oh, really?
and just flies away towards camera.
Okay.
Deuces.
Like
Interesting.
really shitty CGI, like
Mm.
beautifying
Took
him.
Gabriel's spot, right?
I guess it makes no fucking sense
I want to see it.
in the
That's
cosmos.
awesome.
It makes no fucking sense in the cosmology that they've established for this movie. But we'll be getting to that in a second. What was your least favorite thing about the film?
So I mean, compared, I don't want to compare the two because that's a lot, but like in comparison to like all the gadgets and stuff they use in the show,
Yeah.
like that part sucks. Like he really doesn't ever, like in that one, you know, Constantine's like using whatever the frick he has, you
Right.
know, like the shard of glass blessed by da da da,
Yes.
you know, something. And this like he doesn't do anything really. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, at the beginning, I was like, hell yeah, because he's like, go get a 6-foot mirror or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, cool, like he's the freaking MacGyver of
Yes.
spiritual arts,
And-
you know.
And in that scene, they also show a great thing of him holding up different emblems to
Yeah,
the light from
right.
different
I
cultures
thought
and
that's
different
how
religions.
and I think that's what, like, to go full circle with that is like what my least favorite is how strong the movie started and how shitty to me it
Fair.
was at the end.
Fair.
Like, just because after the the second half of the movie started, like, it was a snooze fest.
Yeah,
it
up
was-
until you kind of get to the climax.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, of the climax and stuff, but like really just after that first good couple scenes there where you're like, this is my expectation,
yeah.
and then blow it the rest of the way. Just,
Yeah.
that was, for me, in my opinion.
But yeah, he definitely uses a lot more gadgets. He like becomes more like a freaking supernatural freaking James Bond or
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
And also, yeah, like the beginning of the movie definitely feels a lot stronger. And as you go on, like in the middle of the movie, probably because of how much they had to cut out,
Right.
like the movie definitely has a pacing issue. That is for damn sure.
Yeah, and maybe that's really what it is. Because like I said, there's like plenty of scenes that I'm like, hell yeah, but then it just...
There's lots of things that on their own are really cool, but like as a whole, they kind of make like an uneven tapestry where you're just like,
Yeah.
that's cool, but like the moments that connect them are kind of just like throwaways,
Exhausting.
you know. And also because of the structure of the movie being so changed, like the way that they give information to us, like, is very tiresome at times.
Yeah.
Whereas when you start off the movie, they just throw you into this world
Yes.
and let you figure it out as you go along. But as like we start getting closer to the end of the movie, we start having to like very specifically set forth like what the plan is and what the
Yeah.
rules are.
Stepping stone.
So we get a lot of exposition, and in my opinion, that's also where the movie completely falls apart. Which will bring us very nicely into my least favorite thing about the film. Okay guys, so my least favorite thing in this film is essentially all those things I mentioned earlier about them trying to make it more for mainstream audiences. It's not the concept of doing that, because that's not a bad idea. It is the execution in that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and again, I'm not someone, I do enjoy this movie, and I tend to not judge it as a comic book movie as much, but in the comics, John Constantine deals with all cultures, all religions.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it all exists. And in this, they make it very clearly and specifically Judeo-Christian cosmology and stuff like that because of the audience it's being directed at, which is an American audience.
Right.
Which, at the time, polls were still showing that the majority of Americans recognize themselves as Christians. Also, at the same time, you have those elements of the Matrix with demons that have been incorporated into it, where, like, that's why he's got a long black trench coat instead of a gray or a tan trench coat. Like, all the things, also, like, it's, both the movies are, all the themes are the same, okay? Like, The Matrix is about a guy, a normal guy, who's living his life and then finds out that there's actually some big hierarchy that's going on and there's a big conspiracy to enslave mankind.
Right.
And, you know, and also it's about there being two different worlds. Like, there's this world, the demon world or hell, like the underworld, and then there's the real world. Like, all the themes match up, and even with their shift of making the final act be about him making a sacrifice, also elevates the character to that same kind of pseudo-messianic figure that Keanu Reeves occupies in the character of Neo in The Matrix.
Okay.
Which also, like, the movie does a very good job of maintaining the core of who John Constantine is until we get to the fucking third act, when all of a sudden everything he does is completely out of character. Not only for the character in the comics, but for the character that we've seen in the movie. And then also there's that really shitty tag at the end where they have to finally just explain it to you. Like, oh, well, like, you know, God works in mysterious ways, and like, oh, it's like, God, that sucks. But even beyond that, I feel that, like, one of the bigger problems is that, like, they set up a new cosmology and they throw you into it, but the parts of it that they explain to you only work while you're watching the movie.
Yes.
After the movie's over, if you start trying to analyze any specific part of it and pull any thread, the whole fucking thing falls apart. Like, okay, Keanu Reeves knows there's something going on because he exorcises the demon from the little girl and he sees the fucking thing. But we're never told how that's connected to the overall story.
Right,
Yeah.
other than it's a foot soldier of hell.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a foot
that-
soldier of hell.
But if that's a foot soldier, then you probably see plenty of them throughout a day. So what
although
makes
he
that
says,
any fit?
yeah, although he says that's rare, you know. But
Right.
we never. But then he just starts the other part of the case. So it's like, okay, are you trying to do the detective thing of it's two separate cases that are intertwined? In which case, you never gave us the moment where they're intertwined.
Right,
Yeah.
and then he immediately discounts the chick when the chick comes to him
Yeah.
about the story, and you're like, wait, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the even bigger problem is, one of you asked while we were watching the movie, what's a half-breed? Is it half human, half angel, or half demon? Is it a Nephilim? Because we're also told in the movie that demons and angels can't cross over into our world.
Yeah.
Only the
Yes.
half-breeds can, and they can only influence. So if they're half-breed between a human and an angel, or like, then where the fuck did they come from?
Yeah. Also, if they can only influence, why does Gabriel like beat the fuck out of Constantine?
Exactly. Like, we're told Gabriel's a half-breed, but from all the cosmology from, like, Judeo-Christian cosmology,
Yeah,
Gabriel's
that's an
a
angel.
fucking angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we're never told how to reconcile this, like,
Right.
amongst the characters. So, like, and then even furthermore, Gabriel acts like an angel.
Yes.
She acts like she's never been human. She has no connection to humans. She looks
Right.
down on humans.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, she becomes a human, and Shia LaBeouf
Sent
becomes
to
a
hell.
fucking angel.
Yeah.
So,
What
on
world are we in here?
exactly, on no level does the cosmology that they've built actually hold up to any level of scrutiny.
Yeah.
So what you end up getting is a really fun B movie that's very polished and has big stars in it. And that's okay. But it could have been so much more. It could have been cooler. It seems like they put in a lot of effort, but they didn't put it into the right places.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really my biggest problem with the movie, is that, like, they just didn't have a cohesive vision of something that would stand up on its own.
Yeah. They knew they had important things to tell us. They just didn't tell us the most important
Yeah,
things.
like they were so blindsided by the bigger concepts of the cosmology that they forgot to add in the stepping stones of how it could logically work.
Yeah.
Now, see, the other end of this spectrum is they could tell us nothing, and we just have to accept it as we go, and that's also fine because then it's all questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you're going to explicitly state some things, those have to line up. Like, all the things you explicitly state have to form one through line.
Yeah.
You know?
Has to be cohesive.
Yeah. So in that respect, I feel that the movie really fails, which, you know, might be why it didn't get a sequel, or, you know.
I don't know, that tag at the end would make a really awkward sequel.
God, it would. God, it would. And, like, again, for those three camps of people who don't like the movie, if you don't like Keanu Reeves, you're not going to see the sequel.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
after watching this movie, if you watched it. If you're one of the people who feels like it's not enough like the source material, well, by the third act of this movie, they're absolutely right. The character of Constantine becomes a character who now, both in character and in appearance, is unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And if you're in the freaking other camp who just, like, don't like
Doesn't give a shit?
yeah, doesn't give a shit or like the movie, you're definitely not seeing the sequel. So, yeah. Like, all those people who they could have won over, like, they failed to do anything to win them
Triple
over.
fucked.
Yeah.
Truly, yeah.
Yeah, like, it has all the things that should work for people, but they're in an inappropriate balance.
Yeah.
So, like, my least favorite thing about the movie is it's way shittier than it should have been, or could have been. Alright, guys, so after that fucking tangent of a movie that I claim to like, would you recommend this movie to other people?
For someone like me who hasn't seen source material or really know anything about it, heck yeah, it was great. It was a fun ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Keanu Reeves movie, so if you like Keanu Reeves, then why not? It's almost laughable, the dialogue that he has, because it's 3-second pauses trying to be as cool as fucking possible, even though he's a cool guy in general anyway. So yeah, just watch it. Take a gander.
Yeah, and I also I also definitely recommend the movie. Like, if you just like cool, like, fucking monster B movies, then definitely watch this, because it has a lot better performances than a lot of those movies do from the supporting cast. Like, the effects, while aren't amazing, are really cool.
Yeah,
And it does have some oh shit moments
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And it's just,
But-
it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you can separate yourself from the source material, then it's really fun. Because that's the other thing, is that, like, this movie basically takes the best John Constantine story in Dangerous Habits, and then also ties in elements from, like, 5 other Constantine stories,
Yeah.
but, like, it does the fucking Judge Dredd thing, like from the original Judge Dredd movie, where they take everything that's cool and try to put it into one thing, but that's not gonna work. It didn't work in Judge Dredd, it didn't work with Jared Leto's Joker, it doesn't really work with this movie, but if all you're looking for is, like, a monster fest good time with, like, Keanu Reeves being a dickhead, giving Satan the finger as he dies, and, like,
Giving
you know,
a lot of people the finger,
Yeah.
to be honest.
and like weirdly pseudo-sexually torturing fucking Gavin Rossdale of Bush while he, like, reads
Oh, yeah.
Bible verses to him, then yeah, definitely check this movie
Oh,
out. It
and
can be a lot of fun.
drowns a bitch, so...
Yeah, he also drowns a bitch who trusts him and is supposed to be a detective, but has a lot of trouble putting together that he's about to drown her. So, yeah.
Worth a gander.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. It's a good
Absolutely.
time. Right on, children of the screen. Thank you very much for joining us for What You Mean You Ain't Seen.
Good night, guys.
Later.
Right on, guys. And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I will have links for that in the description below. Once again, thank you, children of the screen. Hope you have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.
Like the books. No. It isn't.